proud of our program, proud of our guys. Be 9-0, hard to do. It's really hard to do, and I thought we did. We kicked it up a gear, started guarding better, getting clean rebounds, and getting out in transition. I thought Denzel and Sam were huge for us in the first half. I thought they gave us a big lift off the bench, and obviously some really good individual performances. I thought Walt was fantastic. Makes me a much better coach. Multiple good performances. Proud of the way our guys have performed through 9 games.
The Gators get some time off before going on the road to take on Arizona State December 14th. It's 73 degrees at 2 o'clock. Time in temp brought to you by Bueller Air and Plumbing. Stay cooler with Bueller.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
Frank, Hays, and JJ. Hit it. It's time for the Frangie Show on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
Hey, we welcome you in. Our new drug today is a back to a 2 to 4 Thursday. A few more weeks of this as we wind down the football season. Glad you are with us. Frank Frangie, Hays Carlyon, RJ Saunders filling in again. You tired yet? You tired? How you doing in there? You all right?
Yeah, how are you guys?
Fantastic. How the Lakers doing? I always check with you. Are we good?
I'm sick.
It's a bad day to ask.
Are we no good? I don't know. I don't keep up.
Frank, I'm sick.
What happened?
Lost by 41 by last night to the Miami Heat.
We lost by 41?
Taken to the woodshed.
Wow.
Embarrassed shouldn't have been the word J.J. Redick used last night. I'm embarrassed.
41? Wow.
Oh, it was
Dwayne
bad.
Wade and Glenn Rice must have gone off, I guess.
Yeah.
Lonzo Mourning, Tim Hardaway.
Yeah, all of them. Wow.
Well, Tyler Hero, who I despise, hit like 7 consecutive threes.
Possibly my favorite player in NBA history. It's Jerry West and Tyler Hero in that order.
I have a hangnail. I can't play in the NBA Finals.
But Hayes said, "I'm going
Way to tough it out there, Tyler."
I'm on
Mr. Regular Season.
Hayes said, "I know he's on IR and having his arm amputated, but I'm going to pick him anyway." That was fantastic.
That was not my fault. That was Tyler Hero and Eric Spoelstra being stupid.
How are the Lakers doing, seriously, other than last night? Middle of the pack, kind of?
Middle of the pack. If the playoffs started today, back in the play-in round. So not looking good so far. It's evident that they need to make a move. So people are now lighting up their torches and sharpening their pitchforks at the house of Rob Pelinka. If you don't make a move now, it's going to be bad for Rob Pelinka when it comes to the Lakers fans.
All right, no good. So there you go. I kind of missed my Lakers updates with RJ. So now we got them back in there, which is
We're going to get RJ's thoughts on the league and headlines.
I love that. Love it very much. So, all right. Hey, lots of things to talk about today on the program. It's going to be a fun show. Our friend Lee Smith's going to stop by from the PGA Tour. Best golf analyst we've ever had. I mean, he does such a fantastic job. So, but there's big stuff going on at the Players. So we're certainly excited about that. So
Tickets on sale.
Tickets are on sale. So Lee will tell us all about the Players. And then starting, I think probably late January, Lee starts coming in every week. And poor guy, he thought he'd done with us when the Players happened. I think we kept him in here till like August. Yeah. And Lee, if you're listening, we're going to do it again. Okay.
Absolutely.
So just so you know. So that's
well, it worked out. We had like one of the greatest player championships in the tournament's history.
That's right.
So we don't want to change anything.
So you're saying we take credit for that?
Absolutely.
Will. So
if something good happens, we're taking credit.
So Lee Smith stops by, and we look forward to seeing Lee talk some golf and about the Players and a whole bunch of stuff. That comes at about 2:20. Greg McGarity, as always, will be by at 2:40. Will he tell us the teams, you think? I'm going to drag it out of him.
Boy, I tell you, there's a lot of buzz that Tampa is hot for the Gators.
I know. ReliaQuest Bowl's where they're going to be, isn't it?
I mean, I don't know that.
But you know what?
It seems.
Do we have any pull?
Well, we'll see.
Yeah, I guess we'll find out.
Yeah.
So we'll find that out in a bit. All right, so we'll talk certainly about that. The Jags, Mac Jones on the road will lead them. We now know that Trevor's down for a while. Trevor's down, by the way. The main reason he's down is the shoulder. The reason he's on IR is the shoulder. Now, who knows when he would have been able to come back with the concussion, but the IR is to have the shoulder surgery. That is the point. He wants to have it with the way this works is you can't have a surgery while you're in protocol. So you got to get out of the concussion protocol and then have the surgery. So, but again, it was the end of the year. The year wasn't going well. You're out of the playoffs. The best thing you can do, a point in fairness to you that you made 2 weeks ago before the concussion is the sooner you get if you do need the surgery, the sooner you get the surgery, logic would say the sooner you're back, right?
Well,
whether that's OTAs or whatever.
Yeah, and again, they need to be focusing on the 2025 season now. I mean, the 24 season is over, and it's it's a disaster. Nothing can be done about it now. And so the Jaguars need to be totally focused on the 2025 season. And Trevor's health is a big component of that because, look, you know, he's going to need the reps. I mean, he's not one of these guys that, you know, let's just assume the new coach is whoever, Ben Johnson. Well, he's not just going to be handed a playbook and know it inside and out in 10 minutes. I mean, he's going to need reps. I mean, we know that that's not a particular strength of Trevor's, is, you know, the football IQ part of this. He works really hard. He's super talented, but I don't think the game comes as easy to him mentally as it does some of the elite quarterbacks. So he needs those OTA reps. He needs to be out there. And so absolutely get the surgery done now and get back out on the practice field as soon as you can, because it's you know, it's not going to be what you've been used to for 3 years. It's going to be a totally new concept on everything, and he's got to know it better than the other 10 guys in the huddle.
So we'll certainly talk about that a little bit today and tomorrow as we move along. Do want to remind you, by the way, tomorrow, the Hastings Injury Law Firm Toy Drive benefiting Big Brothers Big Sisters of Northeast Florida. I am so excited about it. I mean, I really, really am excited about it. We'll be at the Ale House on Hodges and Beach tomorrow at 4 o'clock. We'll kick it off with Doug Peterson will join the show to talk a little bit about Jags Titans. And then we'll spend an awful lot of the show asking you to bring toys. It's such a rewarding day and it's such a fulfilling day. So I'm looking forward to that tomorrow. That'll be
absolutely
tomorrow's show. So please come join us on that show tomorrow. Obviously, always every Friday brought to you by our friends at Big Chief Tire. We certainly are looking forward to it.
And you don't have to wrap the toy.
No.
Unwrapped toy.
Unwrapped and unopened. So
yes.
So you just get from the store. So you ever been to San Antonio?
I don't think I ever have been to San Antonio.
That river is supposed to be fantastic.
I wonder if maybe I went when the Gators were in a regional, but I can't remember if Florida's ever been to San Antonio.
I've been to most of the regionals of significance back when they would go.
Yeah, this would have been when I covered them like 2011, 2012.
I don't think they
weren't.
I don't think so.
That would have been the only way I think I would have gone to San Antonio. So no, I don't think I have ever been.
You know what?
Are we going this year?
Did you know the Final Four is in San Antonio?
Is it really?
You know how I know that? Because I looked it up.
Guess you're confident?
Because I'm confident. Listen, the Gators haven't played anybody, and I know that. This is one of those preseasons where you played a bunch of easy teams. But there's easy teams that would have beat them in the past. Wake Forest, Virginia, they've beat them in the past, and they're not that different this year. And Florida's a pretty good test against Arizona State, who Bobby Hurley coaches, the other Hurley.
Yeah, they've only lost once.
Yeah, they're pretty good. And then the real test is against North Carolina, who Tennessee gutted last. Was it Alabama gutted last night?
I actually think Florida will beat North Carolina, having watched them a couple times. Now, in fairness to them, both games I've watched, they've lost. But
I will tell you, and again, Florida has not played a particularly good team. And I don't want to. I'm joking about the Final Four. I'd love to see them go, but that part was a joke. But I will tell you this.
Well, they're like 7th in the net, so it's not that ridiculous to.
They're pretty good. They're legitimately pretty good. This is a team. Chris Harry told us, he sat with us at the arena the night they came to play USF to start the season. And if you remember this, without missing a beat, Hays, without posturing or positioning it, or there were no conditions. He said, "This will be the best team since the 14 team," and that team went to the Final Four. And do you remember the confidence on his face when he said that?
Absolutely.
Didn't bat an eye. He said they're really good. He said this will be the best team in 10 years. Well, and I said, okay. Well, he's sometimes when you're in the vacuum and you're that close to it, I'm very guilty of that. You get in the vacuum with these teams and you probably don't see them as wide as others do. They are really good. I mean, I thought they played lousy last night. They got out rebounded. They missed a bunch of layups. They
still shot 51.7%.
Right. They were sluggish, and they beat an ACC team by 18 points. And 18 points because Virginia got a couple at the end. Florida has won 9 games by 13 points or more. The team they beat that I think is pretty good is FSU, and FSU just lost to LSU. Mm-hmm. But, I mean, I think they actually have a pretty decent team.
Florida's actually now 5th in the net. They moved up from 7th yesterday. And they're one of there's only a handful of teams now that are still undefeated.
But they, and again, I don't want to misrepresent this. They have not played a top 10 or top 15 or even a top 20 team yet, and I know that, and I understand that. But the eye test is what it is. They've got a great player. You have to have a great player. They have a great player. They have a great player.
Might have more than one, but
Yeah,
Walter is
but they have,
absolutely a great
they have a great player. They have 4 front court guys that are almost interchangeable, that are physical rebounders.
Alexis was great last night.
All 6'9" or better. And I think Elijah Martin changed them. He gave them a toughness. He gave them a street fight personality that they have not had in the previous 2 years under Todd.
Are you saying you would take Martin over Pullen in a street fight?
I would, and I love.
We love Zion,
and I love Zion.
Yeah,
Pullen,
but he's a finesse player.
That would be a very short street fight.
I would agree.
But he gives them a street fighter mentality that they haven't had. I mean, he's a badass. I mean, they have not had badasses. That 14 team.
He's one of the most physically imposing guards
Yes.
I've seen in college basketball.
That 14 team that had Wilbekin and Patrick Young and Yeget and Prather, they were badasses. That team, that's what stood out about that team to me. Well, this team, so we'll see. They haven't played anybody, but my goodness, it's going to be a fun season.
I mean, it's not like they've played 9 cream puffs. They've played a few teams, but you're right. They haven't had that showcase game against Gonzaga, Duke,
or even a top 15 team. Yeah,
right.
It doesn't even have to be a top.
Yeah, and they're going to get plenty of them. The SEC, my goodness, 14-2 against the ACC in the challenge.
14-2.
I mean, that's just
and by the way,
unthinkable.
And if you look at the SEC, remember there's a lot of SEC, ACC games that are not in the challenge. I mean, Florida's already played FSU, Wake, and Virginia. So I think overall, they're like 26-3.
Well, and the team that lost, one of the
ACC.
2 teams that lost, Auburn, who lost to Duke last night, won the Maui.
Right.
So they've got like 3 or 4 awesome wins on their resume, even though they lost their ACC challenge game. And Kentucky is Kentucky, who lost to Clemson.
Right.
So I'm going to go out on a limb and say Kentucky's going to play good basketball this year. So the 2 teams that lost could easily be
correct
teams that go deep in the tournament.
Yeah, so it is. The SEC is really – how in the world that happened? We're not that far removed from the SEC being, if not an embarrassment in basketball.
A 2-bid league.
A 2-bid league and far from elite. The ACC was always better. The old Big East was better than all of them. The Big 8 was better. The Big 10 was better. And then I'll give Greg Sankey brought in Mike Frangie, formerly of the Big East, and said, we want to build basketball. And Chris Spatola, I think it's Spatola. Was that the color guy last night? I think he.
I'm not sure.
I think he was. I think Kevin Brown did play-by-play, and I think this Chris Spatola was the color guy. I think I got that right. He made a point. He said it's almost like football. He said the SEC brings in more athletic guys than the other conferences. And I never thought about that in basketball, but I thought about it last night watching this Florida team, last year's Alabama team, last year's Auburn team, last year's Tennessee team. They're athletic. Kentucky brings in the 5-star basketball players. That's who gets the 5-star basketball players. These other teams, Alabama, Auburn, Florida, Tennessee, they're not getting the 5-star basketball players. Those guys are either going to Kentucky or Duke or Kansas or wherever. That's where they're going. Maybe one will go to Gonzaga, but they're not going to these
UConn,
UConn. But they're not coming to these SEC schools. But the SEC's got all these guys that look like football players. They do. You ever notice that? I never thought about it.
That's a good point.
Until he said it last night. And
look at Dalton Connect.
Correct. And but it was a great win for a great run of wins for the SEC and a fun little win for Florida.
It is really going to be a fun conference slate. Now, it could be frustrating at times for all of our teams because there's probably going to Florida might start 0-3 in league play.
You could go 8.
They go to Kentucky to start.
Right.
Then I think they host Tennessee before going to Arkansas. So I mean, I don't think they'll start 0-3, but they could. And it is going to be a buzzsaw.
Todd Golden said it: 8-10 in the SEC, and you're a hell of a team.
Yeah, because they're all quad 1 wins basically.
Right. That's 8 quad 1 wins. So we'll see. But it was fun watching last night. So we'll certainly talk more basketball
right now in the net. We've got in looking at it again. This is what helps the committee determine seeding in the NCAA tournament, which we're a million miles from, but it's still there's enough data that they've put this out this week. So Tennessee is 1, Auburn is 3, Florida is 5, Kentucky is 6, Alabama is 9, Mississippi State is 10.
How about that?
I mean, that is 6 teams in the top 10 from one conference.
How about that? Pretty amazing stuff. So basketball season will be an awful lot of fun. So we'll talk some about football later on. Greg McGarity stops by at 2:40. Our Gator Bowl College football report picks up right then. But before we do that, let's take a break. Let's talk a little golf. Our pal Lee Smith is here from the Players Championship. A little bit of a golf update and a players update. That's how we'll kick off the program. It's 1010XL and 92.5 FM.
The Frangie Show from the Harrell and Harrell studio. Don't settle for less than you deserve.
There's a new one-stop shop for all things Gators. Subscribe to the 1010XL Gators YouTube channel. Up-to-the-minute updates, instant reaction from Gainesville, plus the same 1010XL Gators podcast you've grown to know. And check out 1010XL Gators on YouTube. Hey gang, Dan Hicken here for America's #1 daily fantasy sports app with more than 10 million active members. It's PrizePicks. First things first, download the app today and use code JAX, that's JAX, to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. Again, download that app today, use code JAX, $50 after you play your first $5 lineup. How to play? All you got to do is pick more or less on 2 to 6 player stat projections, like, is Jared Goff going to throw for more than 230 passing yards? Will Saquon Barkley have more than 1 touchdown? Will Travis Kelce have less than 70 receiving yards? You can now win up to 100 times your money on PrizePicks with as little as 4 correct picks. PrizePicks puts their members first, so all withdrawals are fast, safe, and secure. When my picks hit, which they usually do, I get my money in as quick as 15 minutes. PrizePicks also now offers Venmo for quick and easy deposits and withdrawals. PrizePicks, run your game.
Hey, Jacksonville, I'm sure by now you've seen our bright green GFL trucks and containers throughout the greater Jacksonville area. We are an industry leader in solid waste and would love the opportunity to earn your business. We are committed to customer service, reliability, and have unwavering focus on safety. Whether commercial or construction, let us haul your waste away. Call 904-760-5880 to get a quote today. GFL, green for life.
When it comes to towing products, your safety on the road is the priority at Cannons of Jacksonville. Whether it's a heavy-duty tow hitch, trailer frame, wiring, gooseneck, tow bar, or any other towing accessory, Cannons has decades of experience to ensure your towing setup is installed with precision and reliability. Visit cannonsofjax.com to explore a range of products and schedule your installation. Cannons of Jacksonville, your trusted partner for a smoother tow.
Grab your lucky spot on the couch, because traditions make Sunday easy to enjoy. Bud Light, easy to Sunday, easy to enjoy. Bud Light is the official beer sponsor of the NFL. Enjoy responsibly. 21 plus. Copyright 2024. Anheuser-Busch. Bud Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Fish are good at hiding. Captain Kevin can help you find them.
Oh, yeah, that's a big one.
Find more fish on the Ring Power Fishing Forecast Show.
Thursday nights at 6.
Brought to you by Awaken 180 Weight Loss on 1010XL AM.
Get off the ladder and put on the helmet with Gutter Helmet of North Florida. We are family owned and manufactured locally. Cleaning your gutters is a dangerous and dirty job. That's why with Gutter Helmet, you'll never clean your gutters again. Water goes in your gutters while trash and debris go on the ground. It won't collect like filters do. Gutter Helmet protects. Call now for 10% off and a free gutter cleaning and tune-up with your purchase of Gutter Helmet. Call 904-762-7779.
This holiday season, give the gift of comfort and joy. Comfort food and the joy that comes with digging into a huge plate of diner favorites from Metro Diner. And to make things even more merry, now through the end of the year, they're adding on a $10 bonus card with every $50 spent on gift cards. Metro Diner gift cards are the perfect gift for everyone on your list. Friends, family, or coworkers. Stop by the diner or metrodiner.com and get all your gift shopping done easily. Happy holidays from Metro Diner.
Jingle bells, plumbing's gone astray. A burst pipe, no hot water, clogged drain on Christmas Day. That's no holiday. Call Duck Duck Rooter, we're faster than Santa's sleigh.
904-862-6769 or duckduckrooter.com. Now, the Florida State Seminole Report, brought to you by your local Ag Pro, your home team.
5 Florida State players earned all ACC recognition on Tuesday, led by senior Alex Mastromano as the first-team punter and second-team specialist. Joining Mastromano was senior kicker Ryan Fitzgerald on the second team, while defenders Joshua Farmer, Daryl Jackson Jr., and Azariah Thomas earning honorable mentions. I'm RJ Saunders with your Ag Pro Seminole Report.
AgPro has been family owned and operated for over 64 years. We take pride in developing long-lasting relationships and offering first-class customer service. Need a new tractor, parts for your used equipment, or reliable service? AgPro has you covered. AgPro is here to serve you and your operation as your hometown dealer. Visit us today at any of our AgPro locations or go online to agproco.com to get started with your AgPro experience.
Nimnick Chevrolet is your Silverado headquarters. Frank Frangie here. With the largest inventory on the ground, outstanding cash incentives, and their best price guarantee, your perfect truck is waiting for you at Nimnick. And for even deeper discounts, ask about their demo models. You can shop online 24/7 at nimnickchevy.com or visit the dealership off Cassett Avenue today. Remember, who's got more new Silverados at the best prices? Nobody but Nimnick. That's nimnickchevy.com. Chevrolet, together, let's drive.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
It's a Stanley Pools Thursday on The Frangie Show. Since 1988, the experts in pools, pavers, screen enclosures, it's Stanley Pools.
Thanks for stopping by today, along with Hays Carlyon, R.J. Saunders filling in for J.J. LaSelva. I'm Frank Frangie. Pleasure welcoming our pal Lee Smith, the executive director of the Players Championship. Been too long. How are you, man?
I'm doing great, man. Weather's good. It's really like, I mean, everybody says it's football weather, but it's kind of nice golf weather too. You put a little quarter zip on and can keep it on the whole round. Have a couple beers and.
You playing at all?
Played yesterday.
Yeah.
Played up at Amelia Island in the Dailies Foundation function. That was, they do such great work and a great partner of ours at the Players, and we're a great partner of theirs. So it was good to see them, raise a ton of money for great causes and be a part of it.
Dailies are great. Aubrey Edge and the folks there are very good to our charity as well.
Absolutely.
So they're a wonderful, wonderful cause. All right, the Players right around the corner, Hayes.
Right around the corner.
We are knocking
3 months away.
So
we're here to share good news.
Yeah, that's right.
Good.
That's right.
I'm not saying any bad news is anywhere else.
We could
good
use
news.
some, brother. Let me just say that. Okay, we could. All right, so update me. Tickets are on sale.
Yeah, today opened up today at 10 a.m. We're certainly proud to hit another calendar milestone inside of 100 days and put tickets on sale to the general public. Excited to be able to keep our launch pricing the exact same as last year, which is something we're certainly proud of, and something that we really encourage the local community. Our tickets, like most, are dynamically priced based on demand. So as it gets closer and more tickets sell, but getting the local community and keeping the event affordable for Northeast Florida and encouraging everybody to buy their tickets early because they're going to be less expensive now than they are a month from now, than they are 2 months from now. And so that's really something we're proud of and something that we encourage everybody to do as soon as possible.
And that junior program is so outstanding. Give us a reminder about that.
Yeah, Hayes, appreciate that. It's we feel like at the Players Championship, let alone the PGA Tour, that we have the best junior program in sports. And at the Players Championship, a ticketed adult can bring 2 juniors under 15 complimentary. And so you look at a family of 4, 2 adults, 2 kids, you buy 2 tickets and you bring 4 people to the event. Is certainly something that we encourage. It helps, bring the game to the youth and just imagine, coming on Tuesday and Wednesday, really how close you can get to players. Tickets launch at $40 for Tuesday and $30 for Wednesday. So, two adults and bringing 2 kids a household is something that's really, really cool. And it's great for us to see. We love to get that, the rope lines full of kids and get the players interacting with them. It's fun.
All right. So what's new? What's new? What's new at the golf course? What new programs you have going?
Yeah, it's new is always a perspective because when it's your first time there, everything's new.
Right.
For you guys, you probably notice every blade of grass. So one thing that I think is new is inside the ropes. I think we talked a little bit last year. We added some yardage to some par 5s, changed some tee shot angles. Probably nothing that will be drastically noticeable. other than adding that tree back on number 6. So this will be the first tournament that in 10 years that the tree's back. That kind of provides a visual claustrophobia on that tee box hitting under. Outside the ropes, we took a ton of, I think I maybe mentioned after the tournament last year, we get about a 350-page survey from our stadium ticket holders, and really one of the big things that was missing was fan bleachers and some public access fan areas or fan bleachers to watch golf. So between 10 and 11, we did a lot of land work. And we're adding a public access fan bleacher that actually Mayo is going to be a part of. The Mayo Clinic's going to be a part of. So it'll be a really nice convening area for the public fans to be able to have access, watch some golf on 10, watch the tee shots on the backside of that on 11, even have some kind of horizontal views to 12. And so we're really proud to really respond to the fan surveys and bring something like that back. And then globally, opening up our studios building, and certainly open invitation to you guys to come, but officially opens January 1st.
Oh, I'd love to see that.
But there's 8 studios in that building, and really the exciting product that will launch the first for opening round of the Players Championship is what's called the World Feed. And the World Feed actually allows us, and without going into long-winded details, but allows us, we will now dedicate 6 cameras to international players and 4 multilingual commentary team to international players. So now we can tailor through that studio, we can tailor the broadcast feed that heads to Asia and focuses on Hideki Matsuyama and Norway and focuses on Victor Hovland, as opposed to it being a U.S. biased, U.S. graphics, U.S. commercials, those types of things. It's all, done in their particular culture and language. So we're excited about launching that for the first time, really the first international broadcast upgrade, I think, in 17 years, some significant upgrade in 17 years that will be really made for them. So we're excited about that. It launches the first round of the Players.
So more global than ever. Unpack a few things you said for people that heard Lee start about the golf course. If you don't know the golf course, number 5 and number 7 are really hard par 4s that come toward the middle of the golf course. I'm probably not describing that very well. Number 6 is a shorter one that goes kind of away from the middle. I'm not describing that very well. But
you're right.
If you know the golf course, so the tree makes a hole that's not terribly difficult suddenly difficult.
Yeah,
that's if you're talking about, and I think people know the golf course well enough to know that 6 kind of goes away and those 2 par 4s come at you, but it makes it harder.
Well, there's a lot of ways to make a golf course difficult. Length makes things difficult. Green speeds, but those are all physical things.
Right.
What this tree brings back, and obviously the tree's physical, but it brings visual intimidation.
Perfectly said.
Back into your mind, that now all of a sudden, that even though the tree gives plenty of room for you to hit a normal tee shot, launch angle, and those types of things, it just visually says, I need to take this down and do something a little bit different than my normal swing. And I think we all know when we play, when you try to do something different, usually the results aren't exactly what you were looking for. Try to hit it lower or higher. Yeah.
I would think this, and Hays weigh in on this too. I would think, and I'm biased to this tournament and this course because we love it so much. I'm serious. But I would think there's not much I'd change. Obviously, making 12 reachable when that happened years ago was a good move because it gave it a different part of character it didn't have before, right? But I don't know, Lee. I don't know that. I'm not a golf guy. I'm just a radio guy. But there's not much I would change. Do you feel that way? I mean,
yeah, no, I think you're exactly right. I think what we try to do instead of maybe, and maybe I'm just slicing here, but bad golf word, but change versus adapt and tweak.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
We're fortunate to have so many data points and analytics and all of the technology information that we have that. Sometimes a bunker is just not in the right place anymore, or those types of things. So I don't know that you'll ever see a fundamental change. A dogleg left that turns into a dogleg right, or whatever it is. Because certainly the venue has proven its worth time after time. A short hitters winning, long hitters winning. You know that you've beaten the best and had your best game when you win here at the Players. But taking that shot link data, just for those at home, we have a outgoing missile graded radar on each tee and an incoming missile graded radar on each green that tracks all 32,000 shots that are hit during the week of the Players, whether it's a 3-inch putt or a 350-yard drive.
Right.
They're all on radar and they're all on camera. So taking that data over all the years that we have it allows us to say, that bunker needs to be brought a little closer to the fairway or taken down. We added, just for example, we added 20 yards to number 11, the par 5.
Okay.
And we brought the bunker that's on the left of number 11, the fairway bunker, and brought that back towards the tee 30 yards.
I didn't know that.
So now it's actually 10 yards closer to the back tee, even though we, gained 20 yards. So it's, just always one of those kind of tweaks and adapt.
We've never been able to ask this question before when it comes to the Players' Championship, but might we see a three-peat this year?
I'll tell you, I don't know if you saw. I actually got a picture of this. I screenshotted it because I thought you may ask me about Scotty. Today, his first hole, he hit it to 4 feet, and look at that putting grip.
He went to the claw.
He went to the claw.
He went to the claw. I'll be darned.
First putt since the President's Cup. He's hitting a 4-footer on the first hole down at the Hero World Challenge, and he's using the claw.
Did you see this?
Wow, yeah.
Is that I haven't heard any talk of that.
So I got to think that over the last 6-8 weeks that he's really, really been grinding on it, and I can only imagine that if he putts well, a three-peat certainly could be in the offing. That's for sure.
Yeah,
he
that's
went
for
to
sure.
the claw. Do you like that?
I do like it. I mean, it's to Lee's point. It's the only thing that's held him back. I mean, when I was Brandel Chambly last year before one of the might have been the Players, before one of the huge tournaments, and he basically was like, here's my prediction. If Scotty putts dreadfully, he'll finish third. If he putts decent, he'll finish second. If he putts okay, he
wins
win
in the
it.
playoffs.
And if he putts well, he'll win by 7 shots or something like that. So, I mean, if he can get more consistent with that element of his game, I mean, he's pristine everywhere else.
No question. There's just not a shot he can't hit, whether it's left to right, right to left, high, low, around the greens, all of those types of things. So he starts rolling in putts that you're supposed to make, and his name will be on the leaderboard. That's for sure.
My buddy Bobby, who lives 4 houses from me, he's about a 4 handicap. Uses the claw. Best putter I know. I'm the worst putter I know. He said, I'm not doing it. It's too ugly. I can't do it. I can't do it. And this, by the way, a very good golfer, by the way, to my right, who plays golf right in and putts left-handed. Okay, so you got to do what it takes to do, right? I mean,
fashion over function, Frangie. Right?
Exactly right. State of golf. How do you feel about where we are, the game of golf? I mean, I thought it was a fantastic year last year. Did you feel that way overall?
Yeah, look, I think you always stars come to the top with Scotty and Xander and even Rory playing well later. Emergence of new stars, especially early in the year between the Luke Clantons and Ludwig Aberg and Matthew Pavone. Right. I think on the course certainly the state of the game is strong. Lots of momentum. Off the golf course is I think there's progress being made, and when you hear that our from our commissioner that we're making significant progress in the unification of the game, certainly something that excites us throughout the building and excites us through at the Players Championship. So I think momentum's very strong, and the changes for this year, as we talked about earlier, are going to be really, really exciting, and getting tickets on sale is exciting for us. So now I see Greg over there buy tickets to the Players and buy tickets to the Gator Bowl. Let's make it all happen here.
And of all my favorite days of the Players, My best is I think it's Thursday when I invite myself to the Gator Bowl party right there on the patio. I mean, I go right from doing the show right to it.
That's
I
right.
Go right from the show right to the patio, and Greg buys me a bunch of beers, and I go home. I mean, that's a pretty good Thursday. So you're exactly right about that. Lee, it's great having you in here, and I can't wait till we start up. I think late January, and then you're stuck with us for about 6 months.
You name it.
So we look
Love
forward
it.
to it. So thanks
Enjoy
for coming by. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Lee Smith, the executive director of the Players Championship. Speaking of executive directors, after the break, Greg McGarity, the executive director of the Gator Bowl. Hays is going to tell us who's coming. I'm dragging it out of him. He doesn't think that yet, but I'm dragging it out of him. We'll talk some Gator Bowl after this. Stay with us.
The Frangie Show from the Harrell and Harrell studio. Don't settle for less than you deserve.
Are you embarrassed by your ugly, cracked concrete driveway? Need to enhance your home's curb appeal? Stonecore on Phillips Highway is your one-stop shop for all your outdoor needs. Replacing with new stone pavers will transform your driveway into a stunning work of art. Say goodbye to unsightly concrete and hello to beautiful, durable pavers that last for years. Visit Stonecore today and let's beautify your home together. Stonecore.co. We do outdoors better.
Googan Nation, it's Dreamfinders Danny Hicken here to tell you this is no dream. The folks at Dreamfinders Homes right now have an unbeatable interest rate for you. You may not think you can afford a Dreamfinders home. Well, think again. Take advantage of a 2.99% year one rate. I said it, 2.99%. 15 Jacksonville communities to choose from. Find that dream house and take advantage of an unbeatable rate. Move now, literally. Dreamfinders Homes, the official home builder of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Hacker here. I know I've been sharing my Awaken 180 story for a while now, talking about how much I lost every week, and yeah, that's cool, but I get it, redundant. So let me tell you something that hit me like a freight train the other day. I checked out my Awaken 180 weigh-in portal, and the number just clicked. I started at nearly 320 pounds, and today, my scale read just over 200 pounds. Let that sink in. I'm now lighter than 90% of my buddies. And let me tell you, that's a flex I couldn't dream of a year ago. I owe it all to my Awaken 180 coach and to the program set out to work for anyone. It's been absolutely life-changing. Don't just take my word for it. Head over to my Twitter at RyanGreen1010XL. You'll see the transformation for yourself. But the real transformation, that's how I feel every single day, every step I take, and every morning I wake up. Get that same feeling. Awaken180weightloss.com.
Jacksonville contractors and business owners, do you need custom large metal fab gates or automatic gate controls? Frank Frangie here. Coyle & Sons has been in business in Jacksonville since 1927. They've earned the reputation of quality and specialized skill. Coyle & Sons are the ones trusted in Jacksonville by the top contractors, and they stand on the reputation when you need almost 100 years of commercial contractor experience. So call Coyle & Sons today at 904-356-4821. CoilJacks.com.
We could call them helmets and cleats, but they don't wear cleats.
Those shoes are hot.
Mia O'Brien, Lauren Brooks, and Taylor Dahl.
From the First Coast Lighting Studios at 1010XL.
Weekdays noon to 2.
You think you could join us?
Hey, I'm Tony from Tony D's Pizza. People ask me all day long, is it the water that makes the difference? Well, yes and no. Even water can't make a good pizza. It's the ingredients, too. The best tomatoes, the best flour, and the best cheese. Oh, and a lot of love. Tony D's New York Pizza, Bay Meadows and 295.
Hey, gang, Prosser here. Telling you once again about Chad and Sandy Newman. Mortgage rates are down, creating more active buyers and sellers. If you've been waiting, now is a great time to sell your home before more homes flood the market, driving down prices. So maybe you want guaranteed no-hassle home sale, but don't want to give up hard-earned equity to do it. They can handle that. You see, Chad and Sandy can take every problem you think you have and replace it with a promise. Chad and Sandy guarantee your home sold at an agreed-upon price and deadline, or they will buy it. The success stories are rolling in. Mike and Lisa in McCormick. We inherited a family home that came with equity but also a mortgage. We needed to sell fast to avoid extra expenses on a second mortgage. We heard about Chad and Sandy on the radio and called. Everything they say on the radio is true. The home sold in 3 days for full asking price. Call Chad and Sandy today, 904-414-6200, or go to chadandsandy.com. That's ChadAndSandy.com.
Hicken here with my concierge doctor, Richard Townsend. Doc T, how does a concierge direct primary care operate?
We are a membership-based primary care made directly between a patient and physician. We'll have a limited amount of patients that allows us to give unlimited access and personal service to you. This individualized approach has been shown to lower hospitalizations as well as maintain healthier lives. We also give 24/7 access via phone to me outside of our scheduled office hours.
To learn more, go to mypvconcierge.com.
If you need an insurance agent, I'll recommend the best guy in town, State Farm agent Craig Dewhurst. Call him at 940-9740. Really good guy, really good agent. Life insurance, homeowners, automotive, you name it, he'll handle it for you. Tell him what you need. He'll assess your whole situation. What kind of coverage do you need? How much coverage? What should your deductible be? What do you make and how does it fit your cost and your rates? You will love dealing with Craig. What a nice guy he is and how he'll help you get the right answers. The best in the business. Craig Dewhurst from State Farm, 940-9740.
Bold City Brewery invites you to celebrate Dubs and Duval all season long with a cold pint. Enjoy all their beer, seltzer, ciders by logging on to boldcitybrewery.com. Head to the production house on Roselle Street in Riverside or Bold City downtown and be bold.
Our slogan, Know Before You Blow, applies to more than just DUI cases. Hi, I'm attorney Lee Lockett of Lockett Law. Battery charges can result in jail time and criminal convictions too, so know before you blow a gasket and hit a loved one or a stranger. Drug crimes like possession of marijuana and cocaine will land you in cuffs too, so know before you blow. In a boating under the influence case, you also have the option to blow or not to blow. So know your options. Know before you blow. Go to knowbeforeyoublow.com now. Offices Jacksonville.
This is Dr. Kevin Kaplan, head team physician for your Jacksonville Jaguars. Here's the latest update on the Jags, brought to you by Baptist Health and JOI.
Few players on the Jaguars roster have the relationship that Travis Etienne Jr. has with Trevor Lawrence. The two were college teammates at Clemson and now have played their entire pro careers together in Jacksonville. Etienne on his latest contact with Trevor Lawrence.
I definitely reached out to Trev. He's in great spirits. I was like, man, I know I don't want to say this much, but I love you. We're brothers first, and we're football players second. I just checked up on his mental. I know everybody else reached out, and I'm just happy that he's in a better place mentally. And he has I told him, man, you have a daughter, you have a blessing that's coming, so get right, take care of yourself, take care of your family, and we'll be here holding it down for you and wait till you get back next year.
I'm Andrew Gibson with your Jacksonville Orthopedic Institute Jaguars update.
1010XL is presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
The College Football Report is presented each week by the Gator Bowl with Executive Director Greg McGarity. Here's Greg with the Frangie Show crew.
All right, it is good to have our friend Greg McGarity here. He's the Executive Director of the Gator Bowl as we get closer and closer. Okay, go ahead and reveal it for us. Who are the teams?
I tell you what. This is one year truly when it's going to come down to 12:15 on Sunday to find out where things stand because, I mean, you got the SMU-Clemson game that's going to dictate so much.
Right. So let's start with the ACC side. And I know you don't know this. I'm kidding you.
Mm-hmm.
But I am interested in how it'll be formulated.
Yep.
Let's start with SMU wins and Clemson, Miami are out. They're not in the 12. SMU wins, and neither Clemson and Miami make the 12.
Mm-hmm.
If that happens, how do you see the whole thing playing?
Well, Orlando has the first pick.
Okay.
So I would think they would probably take one of those two teams.
Yeah, right.
And
probably Miami?
Probably so.
Yeah,
and then Clemson can't come here. So
Correct.
if they take Miami, Clemson can't come here. So they could fall to San Diego.
Okay.
And then you've got two 9-win teams in Duke and Syracuse. That's the pool.
Okay.
Those teams there, that's the pool.
So so Clemson can't come here, so you'd have either Duke or
Syracuse. More likely.
That's how.
Yep.
And if Clemson wins and SMU doesn't get in,
right?
Then what?
Then SMU is guaranteed one of those three spots.
Okay.
So again, Orlando has the first pick.
Right.
But they take Miami, Clemson, or SMU.
Right.
I'm sorry, Clemson's up.
Yeah,
I
got Clemson up in that
SMU's
scenario.
out.
Okay.
So then
they take Miami.
Then who would San Diego prefer?
Yeah.
Dallas is a little bit closer to San Diego than probably here. Easy flights and everything. So then again, it gets back to maybe Syracuse or Duke.
Okay. So there's a pretty good chance it's Syracuse or Duke in the ACC. And a lot could happen.
Just
but
a lot of assumptions.
Okay.
But if you were, I would say that's a scenario that's in play today.
And they've won more games than Georgia Tech, so Georgia Tech wouldn't be in play.
No 7-win teams would be included.
Okay.
And then on the SEC side, it's really up in the air.
Absolutely. I mean, if Alabama's not in the college football playoff, then I would think Orlando would grab him in a heartbeat.
Okay.
So then you've got 6 other teams coming into play, Florida, which is one of those.
Yeah.
And South Carolina. So you would hope they would keep those 2 schools in the South.
Yeah.
And then let the other schools that have some proximity to Memphis. Nobody has proximity to Las Vegas.
Right.
But you got Memphis, Houston, and Nashville.
Okay.
That could feed those teams that could drive there, or their fans could drive there. So, what really doesn't make sense to me is from a proximity standpoint, if Florida's available,
okay,
and make them go to Memphis and then send whoever's going to Memphis down here, then both teams have to fly and no fans are going to go. But a lot depends too on does the Southeastern Conference give a preference to teams that have 9 wins?
Yeah, and Hayes, the point you've been making all along. Can you give a 7-win team its preference if a 9-win team has the same preference? That's been your point, and I get it.
But it also, it now helps because 10 years ago it would have been a much greater problem. But explain again how there's no steps in the prestige and payout anymore. It's you guys are in a pool, and there's really no advantage other than maybe where if you want to recruit for a few days in that city, but. I would think other than that, there's really no incentive.
Well, I was in the room when the decision was made to go to the 6-pack, okay? Right. And the agreement among all the ADs that each bowl site would be viewed equally. So there's not a pecking order. I think everybody knows that if you're a team that's one of those teams that's in contention, that they all want to play in Florida.
Right.
They don't want to play in the cold weather. They want to play in an outdoor stadium. They
Recruiting
want to come to
base.
Florida. Yeah. So they all go. Then the conference has to make a decision within the parameters there. Do they stick with either the proximity evaluation, or do they stick with teams that have been in the college football playoff rankings all year long? And then, come into play. Florida beat LSU and Ole Miss. There's only one game separating them in the SEC. Florida's 4-4, right?
Yeah.
Other teams are 5-3.
And Florida has no bad losses. All 5 of their losses were to teams that are ranked.
And their out-of-conference schedule was difficult with Miami. I don't know. You'd have to look at those. A&M lost to Notre Dame.
Ole Miss played no one.
LSU lost to Southern Cal.
Right.
And Ole Miss played for Cream Puffs.
So, I've got my Gator Bowl glasses on.
But I get that. So, all right, so let's go through it. Let's start with Alabama. We pretty much know Georgia, Texas, and Tennessee are in. I think that's conventional thinking.
Yep.
Let's assume Alabama goes 2. So let's assume Alabama's in the 12. We're going to do both. Well, let's do both exercises. First of all, let's start Alabama's in 2. Okay. So now Orlando, who gets to pick first next, right?
Yeah.
They pick
Alabama.
Alabama's
in.
Alabama's in.
Okay, for the AC, you're talking about the ACC.
The SEC.
SEC side.
SEC side. I'm going to assume for the first part of the conversation, Alabama gets in.
I think Alabama, South Carolina go 1-2
okay.
in the state. I think.
Okay. So if Alabama is in, so they're out of the picture. So Orlando takes South Carolina.
Probably so.
That makes sense. Okay.
That would make sense.
So now, Ole Miss, Florida, all these other teams, and you're in a pool together.
Yep.
So what you're hoping is, I would think, is that you get to choose if Orlando's already chosen. Does Tampa pick before you, or does that work? Doesn't work that way. Everyone's in there together.
Mix and match.
Okay, so it's where Florida wants to go. What bowls won whom?
Proximity. Yep.
And Florida's about the same from Tampa and Jacksonville. So that's so. Here's my guess. Hang on. Let me go the other way. Alabama doesn't get in. So now Alabama would have to be the pick of Orlando, I would think. Wouldn't that
Alabama doesn't get in? You would think, because how many chances do you have to get Alabama in the non college football playoff?
Yeah, I would think Alabama.
The ratings
especially
alone,
moving forward.
Yeah. So Alabama goes in. So then Tampa. Then now South Carolina, Ole Miss, Florida are in that next pool.
Yeah, probably so. Missouri's in there.
Missouri. Yeah. So
about those guys.
So, because I here's what I think. I think Alabama's going to get in, whether they should or not. I think Alabama's going to be in.
I totally agree.
And I then think Orlando probably picks South Carolina. That'd be my guess over Ole Miss.
If Alabama's in the playoff.
If Alabama's in. So now, I think your competition is the ReliaQuest in Tampa or here against the Gators. Is that a safe?
Yeah,
That's what it comes down to.
Depends on who's on the other side too. Who do these teams would they rather play?
Who would they rather play?
Big 12 team, SEC, or Big 10?
Yeah, I guess
so. The opponents play a part in that too.
When will you know?
I'll tell you what,
you won't know till everybody knows.
12:15. Once the Orlando has a pick that happens around 1 to 2 o'clock.
Okay.
They'll have a pick, and then at 2 o'clock, the SEC technically convenes in Birmingham.
All right.
To go over, and they let us know no later than 5 p.m.
Okay. So what's 12:15?
12:15 is when the college football playoffs will be announced.
Oh, all right. So the playoffs are announced at 12:15.
Right.
So now you know, for our purposes, if Alabama's in or not, or which ACC team is in.
Right, by 12:15, and then they'll get into, after that, they'll get into the total rankings.
Okay.
And then they'll fill out the bracket. Then they'll fill out what time they play and what day they play. So there are a lot of things to do, but everybody's going to be looking at if SMU wins, it's over with.
Yeah.
Clemson wins, then all eyes are going to be on SMU, Alabama, and I've always felt like, if they thought Alabama was better than SMU right now, they'd be ranked higher.
Oh, okay.
So why should there be a team that's penalized? Otherwise, you don't play conference championships.
I agree with that.
Don't play them.
And that was the point the SMU coach made,
Absolutely.
Rhett Lashley, was
And
why
rightly
shouldn't we just say we have COVID and we don't have enough guys to play?
Right.
As ridiculous as that is.
And
But his point was just a general hypothetical of what's the benefit of us playing in this game if it could cost us a shot at the national title.
Ward Manuel opened that door.
Yeah.
I don't know if he regrets saying that, but I also have a feeling like they've already gone through that scenario in that room.
Right.
The what ifs. And so he might have had to give him some daylight there.
Right.
In case they do jump SMU in the event SMU loses. Otherwise, I wish it'd probably been better if he hadn't said anything, but he threw that out there, and that everybody, they pinned him down. They asked him about that very thing, and he finally said, that's a possibility, which I think kind of struck everyone because, of course, you saw what happened last year. Major disappointment, and everybody shaking their head. I don't know if you'll get in the same dynamic if you're evaluating SMU and Alabama. But if they thought they were better right now, forgetting about a 13th game, why not have Alabama ranked ahead of SMU? Yeah. That's my question.
Does it bother you that Indiana has beaten nobody and is in, it looks like? Beaten nobody.
Yeah, I think that's what gets in the way, and same thing with Penn State's record. You could look at the strength of schedule, and that's one reason Kirby wanted to play all these difficult games, play two tough non-conference games, plus Georgia Tech, plus your ACC schedule. So thinking that the strength of schedule would rule the day, and it's just like kind of the basketball tournament. The metrics change every year. What's more important, strength of schedule on the road, who got hurt? I think SMU even made a point that they changed quarterbacks at some point this season and are undefeated after they made the change of quarterback. Right. So there's so many dynamics. You got 13 people in the room, and they're having to make a tough call.
All right. So as we wrap here, if I said the Gator Bowl is not definitively, but if I guessed Ole Miss, Florida, Syracuse, Duke, would I be pretty close?
That's pretty close.
If I threw those four teams and said there's a pretty good chance you have two of those four.
I think when you include Ole Miss, though, I think you have to include the other 9-win team, Missouri, in there too.
Oh, okay.
So I think if they're going in that direction, they're going to look at those 9-3 teams kind of equally, not LSU.
I see.
I would think Missouri would want a Texas Bowl destination.
Yeah, you would think for their fans.
Yeah, I would hope. And
recruiting. It's every bit the hotbed that Florida is.
Yeah.
And I don't want to say this and then it becomes them, and I'm going to wish I hadn't. But I'm always going to be honest here. I really hope it's not Missouri for your benefits. I think Ole Miss, Lane Kiffin, Jackson Dart, Ole Miss. I think you sell a lot of tickets. I think you sell more if it's Florida.
Either way, TV would love it because you'd have two ranked teams.
Right.
That's the positive side of Ole Miss, Missouri going in. The downside is you're not going to sell many tickets.
Yeah.
So
would DJ Lagway sell you tickets?
I think anybody in orange and blue would sell tickets.
And again, final thing, not that you would have to, but I would think you've made it known to whoever you have to make it known to where you stand.
Yeah, you do your due diligence.
You
don't. Yeah.
The SEC has a pretty good idea where you are, and the ACC.
We have conversations with the ACC and the SEC frequently.
Okay.
And those type questions are asked. We ask those type questions, but we totally respect what they have to do because we're not in their room.
Right.
And there may be dynamics where they gave a team a couple of years ago some help.
Right.
And so is there payback involved or things like that? But again, with Florida, it may be who they play. I mean, if they were in Tampa playing Michigan, let's say, had they rather play Michigan or had they rather play someone in the ACC? So they may have a preference as well.
Okay.
So I think all those possibilities are out there. Just so many possibilities that are there.
Well, it's going to be very interesting. Greg McGarrett is the executive director of the Gator Bowl. I do want to tell you that in the event that it is Florida, Hays wants to buy a luxury box from me. Okay.
Yes.
And I've got his credit card number. I will
Got
get
it.
you his
Okay.
number. Okay. So we'll do that like the very next
Got
day.
it. Okay.
Greg McGarrett is the executive director of the Gator Bowl. Hey, thanks for coming by.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate your help.
Next week, by the way, we'll come in here and talk about how happy you are about the
matchup.
That comes up next week.
You don't even have a board anymore.
Exactly
We've made it to the
board's
end.
gone. There was no board. Usually the board comes out of the pocket.
Yeah.
There's no board.
And one game that really, really matters, and that's Clemson.
Yeah.
SMU.
It really is. Greg, thanks, buddy. We appreciate it.
Thanks, guys.
Hays has headlines on the other side. Stay with us.
It's the ride home with the Frangie Show from the Harold and Harold studio. Don't settle for less than you deserve.
Spend 2 hours talking teal every day on Jaguars Today. With Mike Dempsey and Fat Tony from the Renewal by Anderson Custom Windows and Doors Studios. 10 to noon weekdays on 1010XL.
Hey, sports fans, it's Hays Carlyon for MyBookie. Find your holiday season stride with MyBookie. Take advantage of their live betting, especially if a heavy favorite gets off to a slow start. And check out their cool prop bets. If you haven't signed up, go to mybookie.ag and register for a free account. Use promo code 1010XL to get a double bonus. For a limited time, MyBookie will double your money on your first deposit. Let's take a look at some updated MyBookie lines. The Jaguars are a 3.5-point underdog at the Titans. The over-under is 40 points. The Bills, a 4.5-point road favorite against the Rams, and the Chargers getting 3.5 points at the Chiefs. Sign up with that promo code 1010XL to claim your deposit bonus. Again, it's a double bonus. Bet anything, anytime, anywhere with MyBookie. And don't forget that promo code 1010XL.
Now you can watch 1010XL shows all day on X, Facebook, and YouTube. Brought to you by MyBookie. Experience Vegas from the comfort of your phone anytime, anywhere. Sign up today. Use promo code 1010XL.
MyGate Rewards members, now through January 2nd, you'll get an entry for your chance to win free gas for a year each time you buy 5 eligible Monster Club products. Not a rewards member? Download the Gate app today. See store for details.
We're H-A-P-P-Y, H-A-P-P-Y, because Happy Honda Days are here. Everything is bigger. Bigger selection, bigger discounts, bigger trade-in values. Honda, quality, value, safety. Don't miss Happy Honda Days, going on now at your local Honda dealer.
Come to Monahan Jewelers' 47th annual holiday sale now with up to 30% off GIA certified diamonds and up to 40% off our entire store. Certified diamonds, gemstones, engagement rings, diamond studs, designer brands. We're not a big box store. We're your local family jeweler with an amazing hand-picked inventory for every budget, and with interest-free financing, enjoy beautiful jewelry with a low monthly payment. Support your local family jeweler this Christmas with up to 40% off our entire inventory. Monahan Jewelers in Atlantic Beach, open 7 days a week in December.
What's happening, folks? E.T. here. And come hang out with your boy at Mr. Chubby's Wings, West Side location this Sunday. $9 pitchers, the best wings in town, and of course, the Titans and Jags will be on all their televisions. All the NFL games will also be on, so you won't miss anything. I'll have a box where you can register for a chance to win a pair of VIP passes to welcome to Rockville. This Sunday, 1 p.m. Come hang out with me at Mr. Chubby's Wings, West Side. Mr. Chubby's Wings, proud partner of your Jacksonville Jaguars.
Start your week with a Hall of Fame breakfast.
Well, I'm hungry. How about you?
Join Dan Hicken, Jeff Prosser, and Jags Hall of Famer Tony Bazzelli for tons of football talk. Brought to you by Heritage Roofing of North Florida. Monday mornings at 7:20 on 1010XL.
If you're looking for the best in indoor air quality, I've got the experts to call. Florida Home AC, the official AC provider of the Jaguars, specializing in the best air quality for your home or work with the Remy Halo. Instead of waiting for pollutants to travel through the ductwork to be neutralized, the Halo Cell releases friendly oxidizers every time your fan blows air, helping those in your home that suffer from allergies and other respiratory issues. Call 777-4300 for Florida Home AC and start enjoying cool comfort, clean air.
WJXL AM Jacksonville Beach. WJXL FM Jacksonville Beach.
We heard you loud and clear, Jags fans, and we're taking it back to the 90s again. The Prowler throwback jerseys return to the field Sunday, December 15th, when your Jaguars take on the New York Jets. Be at the bank to see them in action while joining us for our Inspire Change game. To lock in your seats, head to jaguars.com/tickets or call 904-633-2000. We'll see you at the bank.
It's football season, and Uber Eats is dropping undefeated deals on all your game day favorites. This week, score buy one, get one free world-famous pancake combos from IHOP, only on Uber Eats. Craving even more? We've got you covered with game day deals on pizza, burgers, tacos, and more all season long. Uber Eats, official on-demand food delivery partner of the NFL. Order now. Terms, taxes, and fees apply. See app for details.
At Farrah & Farrah, no matter if you're working on a case worth $5,000 or a case worth $5 million, you give that case the attention it deserves. Because to the client, that's their big case. Farrah & Farrah, here for you, here for good, Jacksonville.
Brackish Vodka, the official vodka of UNF Athletics, 100% made in Jacksonville, is available at all local liquor stores. Visit Browdy's, Total Wine, ABC, Shores, Golden, Zahara's, Golden Ox, and more. Drink our gluten-free San Francisco Spirit award-winning vodka and see why it's the smoothest vodka you can buy. When you drink Brackish Vodka, you support all of our local employees and all the money stays in Jacksonville. Drink Brackish Vodka and live life slightly salty. Proud partner of the Jaguars.
Get off the ladder and put on the helmet with Gutter Helmet of North Florida. We are family owned and manufactured locally. Cleaning your gutters is a dangerous and dirty job. That's why with Gutter Helmet, you'll never clean your gutters again. Water goes in your gutters while trash and debris go on the ground. It won't collect like filters do. Gutter Helmet protects. Call now for 10% off and a free gutter cleaning and tune-up with your purchase of Gutter Helmet. Call 904-762-7779.
This is Molly McDonald with your 1010XL Southeast Orthopedic Specialist local sports update, brought to you by Gate Stores. The Gators finished their season trending in the right direction, winning their last 3 games, including 2 against ranked opponents. Now with the regular season behind and a bowl game in the future, head coach Billy Napier detailed the next steps for his team and staff during this time.
Agenda that's extremely important is player retention, right? So we'll start dialogue with our current players. That's kind of next on the list, right? So, and then we'll move into bowl prep. We'll do an exhaustive review of the year and what we need to get better at. Areas where we need to restructure. We're in for a little bit of an overhaul in this offseason in terms of how we put that together. And then we'll evaluate. We're going to evaluate everybody and kind of, that typically takes some time, and we'll be intentional about how we do that.
It's 73 degrees at 3 o'clock. Time and temp brought to you by Bueller Air and Plumbing. Stay cooler with Bueller.
1010XL is presented by Farrah & Farrah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
Ladies and gentlemen, may I have your attention, please? Gather round. It's Hays' Headlines, presented by Harrell & Harrell. Don't settle for less than you deserve. Hear all about it. Here's Hays Carlyon.
Welcome back to the Frangie Show. We've got Frank Frangie, RJ Saunders sitting in for JJ LaSelva. I'm Hays Carlyon. Thank you to our friends at Harrell & Harrell. Give them a call at 251-1111. Frank, we've got a Jaguars game to break down. My question for you, can the Jaguars block the Tennessee Titans?
Well, that's the question in the game. I mean, certainly the Sweat kid out of Texas has been really good, and Jeffrey Simmons might be one of the best 2 or 3 tackles in the league. So you're playing, and look, they're physical. They're ranked 3rd or 4th in defense. I mean, the Titans are good defensively. Yeah. They're a very highly ranked defense, and you're playing with your backup quarterback, so you got to block. The protection last week was pretty good. I can tell you this: the Jags have played 2 games against the Houston Texans, 2 games. And I, as the play-by-play voice of the Jags, did not call Danielle Hunter or Will Anderson's name either game. Do you realize that?
Yeah.
I never called their names. which meant not only did they not have a sack, but they didn't hit a quarterback when he was letting it go, a real pressure. So the protection's been good, but you're going to have to run it some. You're playing with a backup quarterback in Mac Jones. Yeah, it's that's the question. We'll see.
Yeah, to your point, the Titans are second in total defense in terms of yardage. They are 8th on third down defensively. 27th, though, in points allowed, which speaks to now some of that's been the Will Levis has hurt them with the pick sixes, special teams, but I've never seen a team be second in the league in yards allowed, top 8 on third down, and horrible in points allowed.
That is really weird.
Yeah.
I mean, that is which obviously means you've turned it over a bunch.
Right.
You know,
and they have.
You've given some short fields.
Yeah, they're 31st. They're minus 13.
Yeah.
In turnover margin this year.
For the first two numbers you said, if you're highly ranked in yardage allowed, but low ranked in points allowed, there's some short fields. That's common sense. Even we public school guys can figure that part out, you know, so that's why.
Let's get to around the NFL. 3-game suspension upheld for Houston cheap shot artist linebacker Azeez Al-Shahir, who continues to show no remorse for his ridiculous and dangerous hit on Trevor Lawrence.
Let me tell you this, the whole, okay, if you want me to be your villain, shut up. You know, by the way, the comment about I'll be the villain, the cocky I'll be the villain, shows what a fraudulent note the first one was when he seemed so remorseful. The apology it shows that he didn't mean it. He was just fighting to keep the suspension down. He needs to shut up. You know, I'm tired of you. You'll be your villain. Listen, bro, this isn't a game or a joke. You could have really injured another player with a sucker punch. What that was the ultimate sucker punch. You can't take the ultimate sucker punch against a player who's sliding and therefore cannot defend himself. You forearmed in the jaw a player who had given himself up and could not defend himself. Don't go around talking about how mocking the fact that you're the villain. You're the villain because you did a really bad thing. And the reality is you have enough history of bad things that maybe you're just a bad guy. I don't pretend to know him, but I will tell you this. If you're adding up evidence, a guy that does a bad thing and then you look into his past and he's done a lot of other bad things, you have to ask the question as whether or not he's a bad guy. That's the logic of it.
Well said. Week 14 starts up tonight with a good game in the NFC North. Green Bay travels to face Detroit. The Packers are 9-3, while the Lions are 11-1.
Yeah, I wish this game was in Green Bay with snow and ice.
Yeah, it'll be in a dome.
It's an indoor game, but it is a good game. It's a darn good Thursday night game. Can't wait to watch it.
Let's get to college football. We'll start with recruiting rankings with signing day behind us. Texas is number 1, followed by Alabama and Georgia. This is according to 24/7 Sports, their team rankings. The Gators check in at 11, followed by Miami at 14 and FSU at 25.
As bad as that 25 would be for traditional FSU, they probably made up some ground. They flipped a really good running back that was headed to Georgia. They flipped a quarterback that was headed, I think, to Oklahoma State in the last week or so. Could have been worse for Mike Norvell's team. Now he's got to get to work. As for the Florida run, it's pretty incredible. It is a pretty incredible run, Hays, to go from the world was ending, everybody wanted you fired, and some people are going to say, well, we still want him fired. Well, maybe you do, but that's not the narrative now. The narrative is, okay, did enough good things, turned the corner a little bit, kept everything together, rounded out a really good recruiting class. Let's see what happens next year. It's a great turnaround. It really is.
Absolutely. Speaking of the Gators, Coach Billy Napier says receiver Trey Wilson is recovering well from hip surgery in early November and should be 100% after a 4-month recovery.
Yeah, and the big news there isn't any of that. It's that all that conversation and the way Florida stood behind him and helped him go, I think, to Chicago to have the surgery means he's staying. The most important thing of all this is Trey Wilson's the one good player. Last year, Florida lost good players to the portal. This year, they're losing backups who weren't going to play to the portal. The one good player you feared would leave, the one good starter you feared would leave is Trey Wilson. And this kind of confirms that he's not going to.
Yeah, absolutely. And Wilson and Lagway next year, I mean, that could be a spectacular connection.
And Aiden Mizell and those two young backs and 4 of the 5 linemen back. I mean, who knows what they're going to do.
And there'll be a veteran portal receiver brought in as well. UCF, I got to give them credit. UCF shoots its shot, reaching out to USC coach Lincoln Riley to see if he has any interest in the job. Lincoln Riley was like, yeah, thanks, I'm good.
Yeah.
But I love it.
Yeah. But our friend Mike Bianchi, I think he said that just about everybody from Bill Parcells to Mr. Rogers has been rumored to be the new UCF coach. But hey, good for them. By the way, there was talk all through the season that Lincoln Riley wasn't happy at USC and that USC wasn't happy with him.
It was worth a call.
Yeah, so whereas I don't think he's going to land at UCF, God bless him.
Yeah.
But it would not surprise me if you looked up and he landed at another Power 4 school of significance. It really wouldn't.
I agree. It does feel like the Lincoln Riley USC thing is eventually headed towards a divorce probably in the next year, but could even be in the next few weeks with how it's gone. Let's get to college basketball. Number 13, Florida destroys Virginia 87-69 in Gainesville. The Gators improved to 9-0 for the first time since the national championship 05-06 team. Walter Clayton led UF with 27 points as the Gators shot 51.7% from the field.
They are a tough, hard-nosed, physical team. They're brawny. They've got 4 really good front court guys. They've got 3 really good guards. They've got a good guard off the bench in Aberdeen, which makes them an eight-player deep team. Look, if they make shots, and I still don't think they're going to be a great shooting team top to bottom, but they're weird. And though Clayton's the only great shooter they've got, but what they do have is a bunch of guys who can make shots. You know, I mean, realistically, other than Chinyelu and Alexis, they could all make threes. And so, look, Hays, we'll find out because they're in a brutal league. The conference is so good. But that's a Florida team that could get very deep in the tournament. It's as Chris Harry told us before the season, it's the best Florida team in 10 years, and it's going to be fun to follow them.
Yeah, if they can stay injury-free, they've got a chance to be really special, no doubt about it. The SEC goes 14-2 against the ACC in their challenge. The 2 ACC wins, Clemson upset Kentucky, and Duke last night got a huge win over Auburn. But other than that, what domination from the SEC, and everybody that follows college basketball is saying the SEC is not just the best league in the country, it's the best league that we've seen in quite some time in college basketball.
Yeah, it is by a wide margin the best league in the country. I don't think that 14-2 means the ACC's terrible. It's not as good as it once was. That speaks more to the SEC than it does to the ACC, in my opinion. It is going to be a war now. Again, you're going to have a really good team go 7-11 in the SEC and might get into the tournament. They're talking now 9 or 10 teams from the tournament. 9 or 10 teams from the league could get into the tournament.
Yeah, I think Lenardi has like 11 in his current projection. So just unbelievable. SEC basketball, once conference play starts, it's going to be just must watch. There was a huge upset last night in college basketball. Unranked Creighton stuns number 1 Kansas 76-63 in a game in which the Blue Jays never trailed. Creighton's a very, very good program. But wow, how about that? Number 1 Kansas takes a 13-point loss.
Yeah, and it's early. We don't know. You can lose games now if you're Kansas and you're okay. You can't be a non-power or non-big name, non-blue blood. You don't want to lose those games. But it'll be interesting, Hays. I think, look, Duke and Kansas and Carolina and the typical Blue Bloods are going to be in the mix. They always are. Gonzaga's going to be in the mix. UConn's going to be in the mix. But I'll be interested to see this conglomeration of SEC teams and how they compete. I mean, if UConn played Alabama tomorrow, or if Gonzaga played Tennessee tomorrow, or if North Carolina played Auburn tomorrow, those are the Blue Bloods. I don't know the SEC wouldn't sweep those games. That's the point.
Absolutely. Let's get it to the NBA. We've got RJ Saunders here,
RJ, can't
the station's resident NBA expert. RJ, I'm going to start with your team. The Lakers lose by 41 to the Heat, 134-93. So give us a Lakers update. Was that just a one-game problem, or is there trouble in paradise? And then give us some general thoughts about the association, if you would, please.
Hays Carlyon, I'm sick. I'm sick. I'm absolutely disgusted. I don't know if this is a one-off. I do believe that the Lakers do need to make a move. Now, who that's going to be for, I have no clue as of right now. And you're hearing names such as Brandon Ingram. Do you bring him back? There's also lesser-named players that maybe you can give up less for to acquire, names such as Kyle Kuzma, Cameron Johnson from the Brooklyn Nets. Zach LaVine has been a name that's been attached to the Lakers because of his ties to UCLA when he played there in college. So I do believe that the Lakers have made a top-heavy team with a with a 40-year-old who's not going to be a top 10 player in the league consistently night after night. So I do believe it's time for the LA Lakers to consider making a move. Who for? I believe that's really up in the air. But aside from the absolute bleep show that is the Lakers.
Bleep show.
Listen, I do believe that the NBA, as of right now, has had a lot of parity in it. You're looking at the Cleveland Cavaliers. Are they able to keep this up or not? They're currently the number 1 seed. However, Donovan Mitchell, Darius Garland, and company are playing very well right now. The Orlando Magic have been one of the surprise teams this year in the absence of Paolo Banchero. You're looking at a guy like Franz Wagner, who should be an all-star. And also, don't sleep on the Houston Rockets. It really feels like Ime Udoka really has found the secret formula for a team that I thought was going to make the playoffs, but would be in as a 9-10 seed fighting for the 7 or 8 slot. Now they find themselves amongst the top teams within the Western Conference. So definitely have been a lot of great young teams in the association. And Frank, I think you'll probably appreciate this. We all remember the hoopla that was LeVar Ball talking about his son Lonzo, but there's a lot of things he was wrong on. I do believe one thing he was right on was that his youngest son was going to be the best of the 3. And right now, I understand he's injured, but after averaging dang near a triple-double in the month of November, I do believe LaMelo Ball is must-see TV. So, Frank, if you ever have the TV on and you're flipping through channels and the Charlotte Hornets are playing, just watch LaMelo Ball for a while. You may be intrigued.
I'm glad you said that, by the way, because I will take a peek. And by the way, the key to the Rockets? Hakeem. If Hakeem,
and Drexler.
If Hakeem Hakeem and Drexler get loose, forget it. I'm glad you told me that about LaMelo Ball. I really will watch for that.
Absolutely.
I didn't realize that.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll get it to golf. Tickets are on sale now for the Players' Championship, which will be held March 11th through the 16th. And as our good friend Lee Smith told us today, act now. Take advantage of the pricing because it goes up as we get closer to the event. So Players' Championship tickets on sale now. You can go to the Players' Championship website to buy those tickets.
Yeah, so, and you know what? It's great having Lee in here. It's great talking about the players. I love that week. I love the lead up to it. It's one of the really cool events in Jacksonville. Listen, Jacksonville sports is football season and the players. And look, and that the Icemen and the Jumbo Shrimp do a magnificent job too. JU and UNF do. But as far as the highbrow major league stuff, love the Jags, love Florida, Georgia. I love the Gator Bowl and sure do love that Players' Championship.
Absolutely. We will get you out on our musical note of the day. We've got news. Wrong band. AC/DC announces 2025 stadium tour, their first North American tour in 9 years. There we go. That's what we want to hear. Tickets go on sale on Friday. The closest show is at Tampa's Raymond James Stadium.
Will you go?
On May 16th. I don't know. I probably won't.
Yeah.
Because we're going to Vegas to see the Eagles in April.
Right.
So I don't know. And Gene, I'm more of an AC/DC fan than Gene is.
Right.
And I don't know that I'd go to Tampa. I might, but I not at this point. I'm not really planning on it, but I know AC/DC has a great legion of fans out there. This is, of course, You Shook Me All Night Long.
Yeah, I'm not an AC/DC fan. I'm not a hard rock fan, but that's a great band. I mean, if you were gonna have one of these bands you want to go see one last time, go see AC/DC. Yeah, and I gotta believe they put. Have you ever seen them?
I've never seen.
I gotta believe they put on a great.
It's funny. We were at a Jaguars preseason game. I think in Atlanta a few years. I say a few 8 or 9 years ago, and it was when Axl Rose had to stand in for Brian Johnson on vocals.
Yeah.
And so we're walking out of the stadium, me and O'Halloran. This is when I worked for the Times Union, and you could hear the concert.
Wow.
So we didn't see it. But it took so long to walk to the car. We heard like 2 or 3 songs.
Right.
Sounded great. But I've never actually seen them.
But I've got to believe that'd be a great show.
Yeah, and as it gets closer to May, I may sneak down to Tampa.
All right. Well done, as always. We'll take a break. When we come back, Mike Griffith joins us from the Atlanta Constitution to talk Georgia football. Georgia and Texas coming up. It's our Woolsey Moorcombe National College Football Report after this.
The Frangie Show from the Harold and Harold studio. Don't settle for less than you deserve.
It's like overtime, regardless of the score.
There's no overtime.
No overtime?
No.
The window world of Northeast Florida fifth quarter.
Oh, wow.
After the game, join hacker Leon and Coach Campo. Presented by Von Bowen Law and Hurricane Grill and Wings.
Yo, what's happening, fellas? It's your boy E to the T, and I'm going to keep it real. We could all benefit from a little something extra in the bedroom. Blue Chew can help, and I'm about to tell you how you can get some for free. Blue Chew is an online service that delivers the same active ingredients as Viagra and Cialis, but in a chewable form and at a fraction of the cost. No doctor visits, no waiting in line at the pharmacy. Blue Chew ships right to your door in a discreet package. Not even them nosy neighbors gonna know what's going on. Blue Chew's licensed medical providers work with you to find the right ingredients and strength for your prescription. And did I mention the chewable? Just like popping a Mentos. And they're made right here in the good old US of A. Now you're asking, how do I get my Blue Chew? Visit BlueChew.com and make sure to enter promo code 1010XL at checkout. Try it for free and just pay $5 shipping. Turn that oh no into a oh yeah. That's right. Use promo code 1010XL and let your boy hook you up with some Blue Chew. Get your confidence back. Visit BlueChew.com.
You've probably heard the saying, it's not how hard you get hit, it's whether or not you get back up. Well, I'm attorney Brett Hastings, and I have a saying of my own. If you get hit with a personal injury or wrongful death, hit back and fight to make them pay. At Hastings Injury Law, we have the experience you want if you or a loved one suffer a car or trucking accident or wrongful death. Just call 904-HIT-BACK and we'll help you get up and hit back. Office is Jacksonville.
Frank Frangie here for Stanley Pools. You know, pool design has come a long way, and if your pool is outdated, Stanley Pools specializes in bringing older pools up to date for the whole family to enjoy. That's why I did it a few years ago, and man, I love the way my pool looks now after we added travertine pavers and so much else. Stanley Pools has been serving our community since 1988, so call them today at 269-7277 or find them online at StanleyPoolsFL.com. That's Stanley Pools, a family tradition of fine swimming pools.
Get this thing unwrapped here. Duval! Praz, what in the world are you doing working on your Duval? That's right, man. I really identify with Duval. You live in St. John's County, knucklehead. I mean the Duval sub, the Daily Stash Duval. Turkey, ham, melted cheddar, and habanero jack cheeses. Lettuce, tomato, crispy and fresh, you know, like me. I'm sure there's a Daily Stash sub that sums you up. The boss. Because, of course, oven roasted beef, Munster cheese, roasted mushrooms, caramelized onions. It's the boss of all subs. Only available for me. That's just not true. What do you mean? I walked in the other day, screamed, "You know it!" and said, "A boss for a boss." Well, no matter who you are, there is a Daily Stash sandwich or sub for you. Go find yours. They may even make you a boss. I'm sure they will, because it is Daily Stash. Where more is better. And you got that right.
A different path means a new hope for Miami football this season.
Find out what you need to know about the Canes on the Performance Painting Hurricane Report.
Keep an eye on the Canes as they strike back on 1010XL. Prepare, protect, preserve.
It all begins with Speed Weeks, presented by Advent Health, and the running of the Daytona 500, February 12th through 16th. For ticket information, log on to Daytona500.com. Or you can answer this question right now for a chance to win a pair of tickets to the Daytona 500. Who has led the most laps in a single Daytona 500? Text the driver's last name to 641-1010 for your chance to win now.
Time now for a medical recap. A health and wellness tip from Jaguars head team physician, Dr. Kevin Kaplan.
Rotator cuff tears are the most common overhead injuries I see. In order to avoid shoulder issues, make sure not to overload the front of the shoulder while also focusing on developing good scapular strength and maintaining flexibility in your lats. Proper hydration, nutrition, and supplementation are also crucial to joint and muscle health. Go Jag.
Is your AC ready for the holidays? Bold City Heating and Air ensures your AC stays in tip-top shape. We know that a clean AC is a healthy AC. Upgrade yours for just $96 a month and enjoy free duct cleanings with your new system. Plus, ask about our 0% financing options.
Bold City AC. We got the crew. Bold City AC.
Visit boldcityac.com.
my wrist pain was acting up and I needed help, I took Dan Hickens' advice and headed over to see the experts at Southeast Orthopedic Specialists. This is Stuart Moore with the PGA Tour. I highly recommend Southeast Orthopedic Specialists. Whenever you have a need, they took great care of me. They'll take great care of you.
This is Dr. Kevin Murphy. The next time you need orthopedic care, you can rely on our team at Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
Relieve pain and get back to life. Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
Experience the winning combination of style and performance with Renewal by Andersen, energy-efficient, custom-built replacement windows and doors. Right now, buy one window or patio door and get one 40% off. Plus, 0 down, no payments, and no interest for 18 months. The first 50 customers get a free True Screen upgrade, but this offer expires December 31st. Renewal by Andersen, proud partner of the Florida Gators. Visit bestwindowsflorida.com for details.
License number CGC 1527613.
Pick here for Bowden Eye & Associates, where you'll find Jacksonville's most esteemed eye doctors at each of their locations. After being selected for one of the most competitive ophthalmology fellowships in the world, Dr. Frank Bowden is frequently called upon for his expert opinion. He is currently one of the few cornea and external disease specialists in the area and the founder of Bowden Eye. Visit Bowden Eye & Associates today and experience the difference. Bowden Eye & Associates, keeping the First Coast focused.
1010XL is presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
Time now for the College Football Insider, brought to you by the law firm of Woolsey Moorcoat on The Frangie Show.
It is time now for the Woolsey Moorcoat National College Football Report. Let's bring in Mike Griffith, our pal from the AJC, covering the Georgia Bulldogs, and a big one coming up this weekend. Mike, how are you, man?
Doing great, thank you.
Hey, Georgia's an interesting team. I still think they might be the best team in the country. I still think Carson Beck is in some way, somehow, a first-round quarterback. But they've been up and down a little bit. The Tech game was magnificent. Where do you see this Georgia team, Mike, compared to not just the two national title lists, but even last year's team? How good is this Georgia team in your opinion?
Well, let's start with Carson. You know, he's a Jacksonville kid, and he is a fascinating story this year. And let's just cut to the chase. I mean, Carson got a big NIL deal. Everybody knew it. He had a lot of preseason hype. He was under the magnifying glass. There was nowhere for him to go but down. And, you know, Carson, you know, didn't mind letting everybody know he bought a Lamborghini. And look, there's no manual for this. There's no one telling these kids, how do I handle this when I suddenly get rich and I'm in a very visible position? And Carson was just enjoying it. But obviously, a lot of people aren't ready for this yet. Let's face it. A lot of people aren't ready to see kids making millions of dollars. And before people, you know, start throwing darts at Carson, you guys say, no, wait a second. This isn't some guy who quit his team and went somewhere else for money. This is a kid that stayed in his program when he could have transferred and started anywhere else in the country, and he stuck it out at Georgia, and he waited his time. 3 years he invested here. And so he earned his opportunity. He went 13-1, lost one football game, played good enough to win, didn't play his best game against Bama, but he played good enough to win. And then he comes into this year. And this receiving core leads the nation in drops. And there's been some offensive line injuries. And he's down to a freshman running back and a walk-on. And for a while, I think it was hard on Carson, right? Because the supporting cat, Brock Bowers isn't there anymore. Ladd McConkey, these guys are fantasy football starters, right? And they're not there. And the guys that replaced them, they may be draftable, but they ain't going to be starting on your fantasy football team ever. I can promise you that. So suddenly Carson doesn't have the supporting cast, but he's got the expectations. He's put himself out there with the brand, and it was a tough pill. But let me tell you, 2nd and 7, first play of the second quarter, down 10-0 to Tennessee. And Carson Beck takes off running. He not only gets the first down, he lowers his shoulder, and he runs over a Tennessee Vols defensive back. And I'm going to tell you, that fire was lit, and that kid ain't slowed down since. He's got, 11 or 12 touchdowns and no picks since that Tennessee game. When he stands behind the microphone, his voice is a little bit deeper. This team is on his shoulders. He has played himself out of the first and second round, and he's playing himself back in right now, playing the best football of his career, leading, accountable. It's one of those great stories. You say, gosh darn it, this is what college football is all about. is watching a young guy come of age. And Carson Beck right now is one heck of a comeback story. And people that aren't getting it, and I understand that Georgia Tech was winning most of the night and Haynes King this and Haynes King that, but it was Carson Beck that had a drive in 1 minute and 58 seconds down the stretch. And it was Carson Beck that converted on 3rd and 9. It was Carson Beck that called for that run play that finally ended it. I mean, this kid he's the reason why I think Georgia's going to beat Texas again on Saturday.
Yeah, that's well said, Mike. And obviously Georgia was so impressive in the first meeting against Texas in Austin. What are some things that you think Georgia can take from that performance and apply to Saturday's matchup?
Well, we know that they were able to get to the quarterback, and you know the left tackle from Texas that was all that, you know, got beat pretty good by Michael Williams. Now Michael hasn't played well of late, but he is considered a top 10 pick. And if he's playing for a top 10 pick, when they ring the bell, he's got to come back out. It's going to be different Texas and a little bit different Georgia. So Georgia defensively now, one of the guys that's back who wasn't there the first time is this linebacker named Smile Munden. And he was a starter on the 2022 team. And he was around last year, but he had a foot injury, wasn't quite himself, missed some times this year. He finally got back to 100 against Tennessee, had 13 stops against Georgia Tech. He's playing himself into the second day of the NFL draft right now. So this is having an old war horse like that in the linebacking core has been a big picking up for that defense. Conversely, Sark ain't no dummy. Arch Manning is a mobile quarterback, and we know mobile quarterbacks have bothered Georgia before. Now the question I have is, how much Arch will we see? I don't think Quinn Ewers can beat him, and I'm not trying to be too critical. I know he's a decent quarterback, probably an NFL backup. He ain't no starter, but Arch Manning. That story's going to start. At some point, that legend's going to start. Now, I don't know if it's ready to start Saturday, or I don't know if it'll start in a playoff, or maybe we've got to wait till next year. But you look at Arch Manning now to where he was 2 years ago when he was that skinny kid from a private school that didn't play anybody. And all of a sudden you go, oh, now we see what this guy, get ready, because he is about ready to go off. Now, is he ready Saturday? Is he X factor? I don't know the answers to those questions. I don't know Sark's game plan. I don't think Texas has got the receivers they had last year to make much of a run. So I think they need to find something. I just don't know how ready Arch is beyond some of those packages they put in for him to run it and throw it just a little bit.
Mike, I want to ask how important this game is. That's a silly question, I know it, but the point is, number one, you get to win a conference title, which matters, and the SEC sure matters. But you also get that bye. You also don't have to play, whether it's a home game or a road game, you don't have to play that extra game. I would think, and maybe they're talking about this in the locker room or wherever, I would think this is a vitally important game as you try to win the national championship because of that extra week. Don't you see it that way?
Absolutely. Otherwise, you'd have been better off not even playing in it, right? And that's why when we get into the playoff talk, and I know we've had a lot of conversations. I mean, if SMU beats Clemson, it's nice and clean, and Alabama gets in, and we can talk about whether it should have been them or South Carolina or Ole Miss, and we can make an argument for whichever one. But we know what brand's going to get the better TV ratings, and we know which team has the most upside. We also know they're the most inconsistent. But if SMU were to lose that game, and you get into a discussion between a 2-loss SMU and a 3-loss Alabama, well, of course Alabama's a better team. Of course they're going to win 7 out of 10 times, but that's not what it's about. It's about protecting the integrity of the conference championship games. And if you're going to play them, then you can't punish them unless they lose a quarterback like Florida State did, or if they get blown out. Okay, there's some extreme examples. Other than that, the committee pretty much told us, we've ranked these teams, and the teams that you say, I think Ward Manuel's exact words, we're not going backwards in the rankings. Okay, well, what that tells me is that as these teams finished the regular season, Georgia was ahead of a 2-loss Ohio State and ahead of a 2-loss Tennessee. You can't punish them for playing in that game. You can't drop them below Ohio State or Tennessee because they played in that game. That's apples to apples. And to me, and it tells me that you can't drop SMU below Alabama because as of right now, before SMU plays that game, you have them ranked ahead of Alabama. So if you're saying you're not going backwards in the rankings, that tells me you're not putting Alabama in if it comes down to them and SMU. So to your question, yes, especially Georgia, that played the number one schedule in the country, that has an offensive line where every starting offensive lineman missed at least 1 week with injuries, that's down their top 2 receivers for whatever off-field reasons you want to pick, that doesn't have the defensive line that the 21 or 22 team did. They got to win this game if they want to win a national title. I'm on board with that.
Mike, do the intangibles of this game help Georgia? The fact that they live in the SEC title game, and Texas has never experienced anything like this? Is there a little bit of an intangible edge for Georgia because of that?
I think the intangible edge is that Texas already knows they're in. And we can say Georgia knows they're in, but we weren't the ones in that locker room that lost by 3 points to Alabama and dropped from number 1 out of the playoff, which had never happened before. And you better believe Kirby Smart's got those kids convinced that they can't trust the College Football Playoff Committee. I mean, Georgia's been number 5 they were number 5 in 2018 when they shouldn't have been if it was going 4 best. So Georgia hasn't gotten any favors from the College Football Playoff Committee, and as beat up as those kids are, I mean, my gosh, they just played 94 snaps on defense and, 70-some in Georgia Tech in 8 overtimes. They need a break. They really need a break. The fact that Kirby keeps these guys propelled and engaged it's amazing. A la Shane Beamer, team has 3 losses. Look what they did. Ripped off 6 wins, kept their team engaged. To me, that's a big thing. Billy Napier, let's give Billy some props. Part of the Gators, somehow Billy kept those kids engaged during that bye week. To me, that's the separator for coaches right now is who can keep their kids engaged. And because that also affects how many kids are going to go in the portal and who wants to stick around and be developed in your program. So, to that point, I think the intangible is Texas knows they're in. And if we're going to be honest, look, Texas played 2 SEC teams with better than a 500 record. A&M, they beat 17-7, and Georgia, they lost 30-15. They played the Gators. They beat them handily. To me, that was an outlier. I still haven't figured out why Florida didn't show up for that one. But other than that, they pretty much played. So when they got the number 1 defense. Okay, well, they didn't play Alabama. They didn't play Ole Miss. They didn't play LSU, and they didn't play Tennessee. So I think their defense is a little suspect. I think Sark is a fantastic coach. They're down their top couple running backs early in the year. I don't think their receivers are explosive as they've been. I don't think Quinn Ewers is an NFL starter. And I think their offensive line is good but not great. So it's really, if Georgia wins, it's really not as much of an upset as maybe some people would think based on what they see on paper.
Final question for you. I think Georgia's going to win, and I think Georgia might win the whole thing. If they win the game, I assume they go to number 2, and they're the number 2 seed when the playoffs are announced. In your opinion, if they win this game, are they the odds-on favorite to win the national championship, Oregon included? Yes or no?
I need to see Oregon against Penn State. I have a lot of respect for Dan Lanning, and I think Dylan Gabriel's a really good quarterback. Seeing Oregon struggle at Wisconsin was a little bit of a red flag. Big Ten teams running up on bad teams doesn't Indiana. We know what that is, right? I need to see the litmus test. I need to say, how good is Ohio State really? We don't know because they didn't play anybody out of conference. Oregon beat Boise State by 3 points at the start of the year. Right. How good is the Big Ten really? We know USC beat LSU in a close game in Las Vegas, but which LSU team was that? I don't know. I could never figure that one out. So how good is the Big Ten really? I don't know. And we saw Alabama beat Wisconsin by 30. We saw Texas go up and beat Michigan by 31-12, but it didn't turn out to be kind of a. So I don't know how good is Ohio State good? Are they spent all that money? They got the Alabama Downs and Quinshon Judkins, but how good are they really? I don't know. I need more evidence before I could feel confident answering that question. I know this Georgia team doesn't measure up to 21. It doesn't measure up to 2022. But I don't think anybody does. This attrition, NIL, transfer, it's taken a toll. There is more parity now more than ever. But I'll circle back to where we started. Carson Beck. He's playing like a dude, man. This is the guy we thought we were going to have from day one. He had to grow. He had to overcome the NIL distractions. He had to mature, but he's done all of those things before our eyes. And that's what gives Georgia a chance to win the national championship is Carson Beck.
Mike Griffith, great work as always, checking in from the Atlanta Journal-Constitution, covering those Bulldogs. Mike, thanks, buddy. We appreciate it.
All right, you got a great station there, guys. Love you. Thank you,
man. Mike, we really do appreciate that. Mike does a great job. He's on our station a lot. He and Matt Hays are good friends, and so it's great to have Mike on the program. And that is the Woolsey-Morecambe National College Football Report.
Yeah, you want to hear a story?
Yes, I love stories.
So I was talking to Josh Woolsey earlier today, and there's a lawyer that works kind of with him. And his name is Phil, and two of his buddies, Roy and Randy, they're from Jacksonville.
Okay.
So they're in this NFL survivor pool, and there was like over 14,000 entrants into this thing. They did it when they were out in Vegas. They've got 2 sheets left. There's only 50 left in the world, and the payout is like $14 million. So it is incredible.
Wow.
They're on the precipice of some incredible winnings.
Could win 14 mil.
And last week they had Tampa Bay over Carolina, and they were like, that was by far our biggest escape of the season. And remember, Bucks had to like kick a last-second field goal just to send it to overtime.
Right.
So well wishes, best of luck to the Jacksonville trio that
awesome.
may take Vegas. But it is a really cool story. So obviously 50 left.
Mil.
They're right in the mix of it. Yeah. So how about that? Over 14,000 entrants into this, and they're in the top
game.
50 with 2 sheets left.
You may win 14. Does Josh know they may retire? Josh, your guys might retire if that happens. So great story. We do think our friends.
Best of luck, guys.
We appreciate our friends from Woolsey Morecambe. Let's wrap the program after this.
It's the ride home with the Frangie Show from the Harold and Harold studio. Don't settle for less than you deserve.
This is Richard Miller with your Showtime Sports Cards and Collectibles Update. Great gift ideas for the sports fan in your life are mystery boxes from Fanatics, Leaf, TriStar, and Gold Rush. Certified autographed items on jerseys, helmets, footballs, hockey pucks, and baseballs. It's Showtime Sports Cards and Collectibles. Update your collection.
Toyotathon is on at Arlington Toyota. Mia here. Right now, get financing as low as 0% on select new Toyota models. 0%. Plus, you get Arlington's 60-day exchange program and lifetime warranty with your new Toyota purchase. That's unlimited time and miles. Toyotathon is on, so get to Arlington Toyota and save today. Shop in person, 10939 Atlantic Boulevard, or online anytime at arlingtontoyota.com.
Are you tired of having a plain and boring backyard? Really want to impress your family and friends this year? Then stop by Stone Core on Phillips Highway. Imagine hosting guests at your new outdoor kitchen, relaxing by your custom-built fireplace under a brand new pergola. Stone Core can also remodel your old pool deck and beautiful new pavers. Make your backyard wishes a reality. Visit Stone Core on Phillips Highway and let's get started at stonecore.co. We do outdoors better.
Barley and Pie Brewing Company in Fleming Island is excited to announce an all-new happy hour, 7 days a week. You heard right. Every day from 3 until 6 p.m. and again from 9 until close. Barley and Pie has deals you can't resist. 2-for-1 clay lights, 2-for-1 house wines, and much more. Experience the all-new happy hour at Barley and Pie Brewing Company in Fleming Island.
Start your Saturday with a whiff of the great outdoors.
Captain Kevin Favor here with Captain Kirk and Jeff Lagerman, and we bring you the fresh air of the great outdoors.
On the Nimnit Outdoors Show, presented by Duck Rooter Plumbing, Septic and Air Conditioning on 1010XL.
Bueller Air and Plumbing presents Are You Cool?
Our first contestant, a stay-at-home gymnast from Jacksonville, Florida. It's Gwendolyn Beers.
Thank you, Monty. I don't know who installed my air conditioner, but it hasn't had a tune-up in over 3 years. Am I cool?
Let's ask our expert judging panel. Judges? Oh, I'm sorry, Gwendolyn. You're not cool. Johnny, tell her why.
That's right. To keep your air conditioner performing at its best, you need a skilled technician to check your pressures, voltages, and air filters in the fall and the spring. At Bueller Air and Plumbing, our club members get 2 free visits a year to make sure that you are cool.
Can you tell me if my haircut is sexy?
You're better off not asking.
Stay cooler with Bueller.
Visit BuellerAir.com.
Jimerson Burr is a full-service, Florida-based commercial law firm that has experience and capabilities to handle any legal issue a business is confronted with. Learn more about what they can do for you at jimersonfirm.com.
Elbow pain, whether acute or chronic, can make it difficult to do normal activities like playing sports, doing household chores, or even sleeping comfortably. Dr. George Barr here, and no one wants to deal with pain without solutions on how to feel better. We've all heard of tennis and golfer's elbow, but there's plenty more that can cause pain, like osteoarthritis, muscle tears, and nerve entrapment. All are treatable at Barr Orthopedics. Getting you back to full health is our mission, and there's a number of different treatment options we can offer. Call us today or visit barrorthopedics.com.
Mia here. Since 1982, Closets by Design has specialized in creating dream spaces for every budget. My designer, Frances, made the process so easy. She came to my house and designed a walk-in closet that's not only beautiful, but incredibly functional for me and Beau Valentine. Call today to schedule your free in-home consultation at 800-293-3744 or visit closetsbydesign.com. And be sure to check out their end-of-year sale, including 18-month special financing. Closets by Design.
Frank Frangie here. These days, it's hard to know which companies to trust. But when it comes to banking, I trust South State Bank. South State truly values its customers, and they work hard to create meaningful, lasting relationships. I love going into my local branch. I see the same smiling faces I've seen for years. South State is the largest bank headquartered in Florida, so they're able to offer all the banking services you need. You can trust South State Bank. Banking forward. Member FDIC. Equal housing lender.
Best Bet is number one. That's right. Best Bet Jacksonville, Orange Park, and St. Augustine have one-card poker, the fastest and easiest card game to learn and play. Play one card at a time, and the highest card wins even money. If the card values are the same, it's time for war, just like the game you remember. You must be 18 years or older to play. Learn all the games at bestbetjacks.com. That's bestbetjacks.com.
David here with Royal Pest Services. Here's a special message from our president.
Thanks, David. This is Jordan Harrington, president of Royal Pest Services. We'd like to thank everyone who has trusted Royal Pest for their pest control needs this year. Wishing all a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year from the Royal Pest family.
This is Dr. Kevin Kaplan, head team physician for your Jacksonville Jaguars. Here's the latest update on the Jags, brought to you by Baptist Health and JOI.
Former Bishop Kenny High School quarterback John Wolford signed with the Jaguars practice squad this week. Wolford spoke on Wednesday about the opportunity to sign with the team that he grew up pulling for.
It's great, honestly. It's funny, I was thinking as I was driving over the bridge today, I saw Bishop Kenny, and everything kind of comes full circle. Being like 6 years old, coming to my first game here and walking into the stadium. So again, it's kind of a full circle moment, a lot of hard work, a lot of people along the way that have helped me and pushed me.
Did you ever think you'd be playing for the Jaguars?
I knew there was a 1 in 32 shot, so if I was in the league and I made it in the league, then there's always a chance, and I'm glad they brought me in.
John Wolford, courtesy of Jaguars.com. I'm Andrew Gibson with your Jacksonville Orthopedic Institute Jaguars update.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
It's a Stanley Pools Thursday on The Frangie Show. Since 1988, the experts in pools, pavers, screen enclosures, it's Stanley Pools.
You telling me we have Lee Smith, McGarity, Griffith, and we're blessing the rains?
Big day.
You don't get to bless the rains every day.
You're not.
R.J. Saunders just steps right in, doesn't he? Like he missed a beat.
Yeah. Total pro. Pro's pro.
Blessing the rains, for God's sake. On a Thursday.
Play it if you dare.
Pretty good Thursday, if you ask me. Oh, by the way, what is Trevor Etienne doing? I mean,
I don't know.
First I see he's going to leave again.
Yeah.
But then I see he's
playing
hoping
Saturday.
To have him back. So
right.
Is it all just rumors and he's not going anywhere?
I don't know.
Why would he leave anyway?
I don't get it. I saw one report yesterday. Again, it was I just saw the tweet of it, so I don't know the veracity of the report. But it mentioned like 3 schools that he might transfer to. Right. One of them was Florida. I was like, well, I can tell you that ship has sailed.
Right.
So it's not going to be Florida. But anyway, yeah, I don't know. I to hear Mike tell it, true freshman running back and a walk-on. Well, that obviously he must not think Etienne is going to be available, dealing with the rib injury. So we'll see. But yeah, if I was Kirby Smart and he was planning on transferring, I wouldn't even suit him up for the game.
Yeah, but he's a good player. So it's the whole thing. It's just the whole thing's
yeah. But
odd.
I would want mentally. I would question if he's mentally into the game.
Yeah.
If he's already thinking about where his next destination is.
Yeah. If you're thinking about leaving, then you're probably thinking about leaving.
Then you might put the ball on the ground.
Yeah. I agree with that. So if you think, leaving. If you think about leaving, you're probably thinking about leaving. So you're exactly right. So it'll be interesting the way the whole thing kind of.
Yeah, he's a big. I mean, if he plays, that's a big X factor. I'm surprised Texas is favored in this game. By the way.
Yeah, I see. I
feel very confident Georgia.
So do I. Maybe we're just really old school SEC homers, but I'm very confident Georgia's going to beat Texas. And that's funny you said that. I am extremely confident Georgia's going to be. What's the line?
I think Texas is like a 3-point favorite.
Yeah, that's surprising. And again, Vegas knows what they're doing, but yeah, that line really surprises me. By the way, speaking about that, you told me last night that Florida was a 17.5-point favorite. And they won by 18.
Won by 18.
It really is amazing.
It is
how close the Sharps get it. I mean,
it's incredible.
It really is. I mean, it's really amazing stuff. So, but yeah, I'm confident. Do you feel as confident that we kind of know who's in the playoff?
I think so.
I mean, I
do think they'll drop SMU out for Alabama. I think Alabama is making the playoff.
Yeah, I do too. And
unless they decide they're going to snub Indiana, but that would be.
I don't think so.
They've really let Indiana on.
I think
to then basically be like, sorry, you're out.
Yeah, I think I said the same thing. I think in the ACC, winner is in, loser is out, no matter who wins or loses.
Yeah,
I agree with. I think, and that may not be fair to SMU, but it is what I think.
I would agree. I think they're just going to say, tough luck. It's just the way it went this year. It's nothing against you guys, nothing against your conference, but
so
we have to pick the 12 best teams, and we feel like the ACC runner-up is not one of the 12 best.
So the general consensus is that all 4 Big Ten teams are in. Oregon,
Correct.
Ohio State, Penn State, and Indiana are all in. That's the general consensus. We know
they're making a huge mistake by putting Indiana in, by the way. Huge mistake. They haven't beaten anybody. Right. That's got to be a criteria. If you don't have a win over a top 30 team, you should not be able to play for the national championship.
Yeah, right. So, all right. Let's show where we've been real quick here, RJ.
Now the cool down with Donovan Air Electric and Plumbing, keeping Jack's cool since '87.
All right, Lee Smith came by, the executive director of the Players Championship. We talked a little golf with him. Always fun to do that. Greg McGarity is by, the executive director of the Gator Bowl. He doesn't know what game he's getting. He'd love those Florida Gators, but he doesn't know. He'll find out coming up in just a bit. And Mike Griffiths checked in from the Atlanta Journal-Constitution to talk Georgia and Texas. And, of course, Hays did a terrific job, as he always does, with headlines. Almost out of time. Tomorrow, by the way, come out and see us at the Ale House. We're really excited about it. Stop by and see us. It is our Hastings Injury Law Firm toy drive. We do it to benefit big brothers and big sisters of Northeast Florida. It's really a cool day. So many people show up. Brett Hastings buys you any drink you want if you come by and say hello. You have a chance to really help children. I know there's a lot of toy drives out there, and they're all wonderful. And thank you to all the people that put on toy drives, not just this one we do. But this one's important to us. And so you're going to help kids that otherwise might not have a Christmas. That's what makes this thing so special. Please come see us tomorrow at the Ale House, the Miller's Ale House, at the corner of Beach and Hodges. And we'd love to see you there. We're out of here. RJ, great work as always for filling in for JJ. We appreciate that. For RJ, the absent JJ, and for Hays Carlyon, I'm Frank Frangie. So long.